audience. So ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good morning wherever you might be. My name is Daniel Tolson and my good friend
Rebecca Jarrett-Dalton.
And Rebecca's from Two Red Shoes. She's a mortgage broker here in Sydney, Australia, and doing wonderful things in the community. So Kerry, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kerry.
Good to see you there. And we'd like to share some fascinating information with you this evening. And people go through and they buy new homes, they live in their homes, and then it comes to a time where they need to remortgage. And there's certain pitfalls and processes that you really need to be aware of. And Beck is the authority in this field. And she's going to share with you some amazing content to help the process go very smooth and basically effortless. So
absolutely, take away the stress.
Yeah. How stressful is it for somebody?
Well, they say that buying a new house or refinancing a loan is something akin to a death or a divorce, that it's that stressful. We don't think so.
So when people are experiencing the stress, what makes it stressful for them?
Most of it is not knowing what you need to do, not knowing how the process is going to work, not wanting to miss out on something. So particularly when you're buying a home, you only do this sort of maybe every 5-10 years. You never can remember, what was it that we had to do that last time? Who did we talk to? What do we need to get in place?
So people would probably put a lot of pressure on themselves.
Lots of pressure. It's not something you want to stuff up.
No, and if it's not something you do all the time, it's probably best to get some advice.
Absolutely. Use the resources that are available to you. It's also one of those things you don't want to be declined. You don't want to get a no. So let's do what we can to make it easier for you.
With statistics, you said there that remortgaging is as stressful as a divorce.
It seems to be. That's what my clients say. At the beginning.
Or a death. So, Serena, thank you for joining us there. Hope you're having a great day. Whilst you're joining us, say hello. Let us know where you're from and what you had for dinner tonight. Let us know because we're waiting to have some dinner also.
And if you've got any questions, obviously send them over.
Yeah, send them a thing. So Beck's got some phenomenal tips here for you. So Beck, tip number 1. What is it?
Tip number 1, gather up all of your paperwork. So just make the job that little bit smoother and easier. There's nothing like thinking you're waiting for an approval, but actually we're waiting for the paperwork from you. So gather up your current ID. It has to be current driver's license and preferably a not expired passport, but not more than 2 years expired, or your birth certificate and a marriage certificate if need be. Gather up at least 1 month of your current bank account statement, the account that your wages go into and most of your expenses come in and out of. You work out how to download some of your mortgage statements. These things are fairly easy these days. You should be able to PDF them straight out of the bank's software. And most important, your last 2 pay slips. If you can find group certificate from last year, that's helpful also.
Alice, good evening. Do you know Alice Jarrett?
Yes, I do. Hello. And she will probably think I've set you up because her name's Elise, but I always call her Alice, and I promise I haven't set you up.
So the 3 big takeaways here from tip number 1 is to gather your paperwork and make sure that it's up to date.
Up to date, absolutely.
I'm not a professional in this field. If I rock up with out-of-date paperwork, what ends up happening to me?
Yeah, we're waiting. It's just waiting. That's all. And it's stressful while you're waiting. The waiting is probably the worst bit. So let's do these things to expedite it.
So we want to have current paperwork. And when it comes to the bank information, how current does it have to be? Are we talking, some people think it's a year. How much is it?
So typically it says the statements must be not more than 60 days old, but let's just make it easy. Let's just grab your last 1 month statement for your transaction account and your last 6 months for your home loan or anything else you're looking to refinance.
Awesome. So the most recent one, they need to have.
Now, at least one statement, actually, I should say, has to have your name on it. So if you've got one old statement with your name on it, and then you can print off the internet transactions from your software, that's okay too, because we marry up the account numbers.
Awesome. So that's the first success tip. What about some of these pitfalls? There's all these unknown unknowns.
So things not to do while you're trying to take out a loan.
Jody says yes. It's the waiting That sucks.
I know, sorry. We cut it as much as we possibly can, but you can help us. So, pitfalls, what not to do when you're taking out a new loan. Don't take out any new credit, please. Just sit still until the loan is approved. What could happen is the new repayment for the new loan could impact upon whether the bank thinks you can afford the original loan anymore. And secondly, the little extra credit hit actually can weigh against you. So when banks are assessing you, they look at your credit history, and if it's too busy, there's too many little blips on there, too many, and by a blip, I don't mean an actual problem, I mean just somebody having a look at it. They leave a little mark to say that they've had a look. If there's too many of them, that can go against you.
Okay, well, so no new loans, don't take out any new finance.
No.
Don't damage your chances.
Don't damage your chances. Now, the next thing is, please don't change your job, especially if we're halfway through. Or if you know there's something coming up, you've got a purchase to settle on, please don't change your job if you can avoid it at all. Some lenders won't accept you in a new position for a period of time, so you might be in very great trouble there.
I hate my boss, but I want to buy a house.
Well, just wait. Can you just suck
wait?
it up for another couple of years?
Just suck it up? I've sucked it up for 10 years already.
Exactly. Now, the other thing is, if you are even remotely thinking about quitting your job and becoming self-employed, I want to tell you that the lenders won't look at you as a self-employed applicant until you've done that for at least 2 years. We want 2 years full tax returns before they will look at you. So that's not kind of going to work. Let's not go there.
So I'm going to just put it out with my boss. I'm going to suck it up because I've sucked it up for all this time.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to jump out and start my own business.
It could be just a matter of weeks, or it could be, just a matter of months.
What about my good mates who know everything about real estate and they know everything about mortgage and they got a story for everything?
Don't listen to
and
Bob
they start
over
to
the
get in my
fence.
ears.
Absolutely. You'll always hear a horror story, particularly if you're looking to invest in property. There'll be somebody who knows somebody whose Uncle Jim bought a property and the tenants trashed it. What you don't know is what he bought, whether it was any good, whether the story actually even happened, or whether he had any advice. So you just, there's simple things you can put in place. Landlord's protection insurance is really, really cheap. And if you buy a great property in a great area, you shouldn't ever have a tenant issue any rate. So don't listen to Uncle Jim. The other thing is people say, oh, my friend's with XYZ lender, why don't you put me with them? Well, you don't know what their circumstances are and how they might be different than yours. And this can work in both ways. I had a client who phoned and said, you got us approved and our circumstances were worse than our friends. Why don't you take a look at them? And what they didn't know is what the friends weren't telling them. And so we got our clients a really great deal, but we weren't able to help those other people. And, at that time at any rate. So you don't know what else is going on there, but don't listen to Uncle Jim. Ask a professional.
He's always got a story, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And the other thing that you can do to help your chances is just keep on saving. There's no limit to the amount of savings that you can have when it comes to buying property or refinancing. Lenders always love a growing bank balance.
Okay. So the bank balance is growing. I'm taking advice from experts.
Yep.
What about these people who they go onto the internet and they search all their symptomology
Oh,
and they then
Dr.
self-diagnose?
Dr. Google and self-diagnose which loan you should be in. Great, absolutely great to be a little bit aware, but policy drives a lot of the choices that we make, a lot more choices than pricing. So the first thing we do is who will approve you, and then from those people who will approve you, who's the cheapest. There's no point in kind of rubbing your nose in an interest rate you can't get. Now that said, I don't expect you to pay more than you have to, and we have got some absolutely fantastic offers, but let us do that Dr. Googling for you. We've got proper software and stuff.
It's much smarter. So Rachel Brown, thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. You know Beck already?
She does.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good.
Rachel agreed too. Rachel is a brilliant financial planner, so, ask me and I'll give you her.
Good girl to know. So what about the final tip? So tip number 1 was all about gathering up your paperwork.
Yep.
Making sure it's up to date. Having current ID. Having your last payment summary. Second tip was just stick to your job. Don't go and start a business.
Just for a little while.
Don't blow
Especially
all your
start a
money.
business, yes.
Don't look on Dr. Google. What about your final tip? What's the third most important thing that our friends here tonight have to take away?
Well, if I'm going to then blow my own horn just a smidge, it is use a really great broker. So a really great broker will tell you all the things that you need to be done so nothing gets missed. So that's the things that you need to do. the things that your solicitor needs to do, and the things that we take care of for you. Most of you are form phobic, we know that. No one likes filling out forms except for us weirdos. Nobody likes numbers either, and again, I love numbers, so send them over to us. What we start with is looking obviously at what you want to do, both now and into the future, working out what's going to be a really good path for you, and I absolutely love those phone calls that start with, we're not sure if we can even do anything, but I love getting those and pulling the pieces together. That's fabulous. So we then start to negotiate with some of the lenders for you. We'll do all of the approval process. We'll do the forms. We submit it all. We talk to the lenders backwards and forwards, answer any of their questions, and basically that takes most of the stress off of you. We use technology, so a quick text message to let you know where everything is at, or an email, or if you prefer a phone call, here we go. We've got a big question here. And I can't see it. Daniel's going to be lean in better than me.
I'll use my eyes. Beck did an awesome job on my home loan with my husband, who was permanent casual, and me having less than 12 months service in my current role.
So it won't fit with everybody, right? And so, Dr. Google might give you such and such loan, but if you can't qualify it, now if I know who that is, then we actually did get a fantastic market leader. So that was a triple win. Anyway.
Brett Sutton, welcome, local real estate agent here in Penrith.
Hi, Brett.
G'day, big fella. Yeah, pairing up.
We know Brett, that's fantastic.
So stress reduction, first of all, we discovered that remortgaging a home was as stressful as divorce and death. So as a broker, you can actually take that away, that stress away from your clients.
Let us do the heavy lifting for you, and we love it. And you know what the extra benefit there is? There's no cost, there's no charge for us. We don't add anything to the cost of the loan. Lenders see us as the cheaper option. So if we're not handing you a bill, and the lender's not handing you a bill for our services, kind of no-brainer.
So you look after it all, take the stress away?
Yep.
No bill.
We'll even help you sign up the forms at the end. Have you ever seen mortgage documents like a stack this high with little yellow stickers everywhere? I pull it in half. That half we can disregard for now. Go through all the bits and pieces, show you where you need to sign, and send them back for you.
Simple.
Simple.
Simple. Looked after. So to wrap it all up, what's the final note that our listeners need to be aware of for the pitfalls of and the process of refinancing, getting your mortgage?
Don't be afraid of what you don't know, because we know it. We do it all the time. Don't be afraid of the time that it can take. We'll tell you up front roughly what it will take. Lenders sometimes let us down a little bit, but we think we're right. Don't try and reinvent the wheel or overthink it. Absolutely be our partner in this, and just let us look after you.
In the process, how long does it normally take?
For an approval, normally takes between 5 and 8 working days. So we live in this Insta society, don't we, where, it's average response time. Didn't you say to me, average response time for an email is 90 minutes these days? And that means we want...
It used to be 7 days.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was snail mail though. That means we want a response pretty instantly, but we know it's going to take 5 to 8 days. We're going to keep you up to date in the meantime, but just sort of pop it in your diary and sit back and relax and know that you're being looked after.
Excellent. So 5 to 8 days, put it in the diary, set it, forget it, you'll take care of everything. And what should people be asking their brokers?
Okay, what should people be asking their brokers? I think number one thing is get a feel for them. Do you like them? Do you gel? Do you think somebody you want to get along with? Number two, what are their credentials? Are they qualified? Are they industry body members? Are they insured and educated? We've got some very high education standards in our office, and we've got some loads and loads and loads of years of experience, far too many to want to disclose. And what is their lender panel? Do they charge a fee as well? Because there are some brokers that do charge fees, not us. What is their lender panel? So we've got something like 32 lenders on panel.
32.
So imagine wading through all of those options.
So if I do it myself, I've got to go to 32 different lenders.
And every single one of those lenders is going to give you a credit hit, and every single one of those lenders is going to damage your credit history by virtue of doing that.
So the great odds.
Don't shop the lenders. Shop up. Don't shop brokers. We'll shop the lenders for you.
So easy. So for people who are thinking about refinancing, they're buying a home or mortgaging, how do they get in contact with you?
We'll pop a link in here that you can do a quick Skype appointment if you like, or you can send us a message through the page. You can pop us an email email, there's phone numbers, whatever you like.
Excellent. So all of Beck's details will be posted up in the message below, and be sure to reach out to her because she can speak to 32 lenders on your behalf. She can take away all of that stress, and she can probably make a big difference in the final payments on your mortgages.
Absolutely.
So thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you too, Daniel.
And if you have any questions, be sure to reach Beck at 2 Red Shoes. Ciao for now.
See you.